Pisces, this is your horoscope for October 2016. Thanks for joining me. On the 1st of October, we have the new moon in Libra, and that happens in your 8th house. Now, I've made a separate video on the new moon in Libra. If you'd like more information about it, then have a look at that video. Basically, the new moon is when the moon sits right on top of the sun, and it appears to be totally black. And it's recharging, and it's pulling new energy in to complete its next monthly cycle. And in this case, it's pulling in Libra energy, which is about building positive, harmonious relationships with other people, and it's about building bridges and expanding your social circle. In your 8th house, that is happening in the area of institutions in your life. So take a couple of minutes on the 1st of October to think about how you want to improve your relationships with institutions that you have in your life, like a book club or a writer's guild, or if you work in a hospital, and also focus on how you want to improve your standing within those institutions. That's the best way to make use of this energy. And if you take that time out to just focus on what you want to achieve in that area, you'll really be pleasantly surprised by what you can achieve in October. So on the 1st here, you're thinking about other people, you're thinking about yourself in connection to other people. On the 2nd, the moon is still in Libra, but it begins to oppose Uranus and Aries in your 2nd. And that in your 2nd house is all about yourself. So on the 2nd, you really focus on your own ideas when it comes to making money, and you're really reluctant to listen to anyone else's ideas and even look at your standing within some sort of institutions. So if you want to better your relationship, do that on the 1st. On the 2nd, be aware that you're also going to have your own ideas and that they're going to come in as well, and realize that you have a bit of a balancing act to do on the 2nd. On the 3rd and 4th, the moon moves on into Scorpio and it sits in your 9th house. What you'll notice over these 2 days is that you discover some sort of hidden emotional connection that you have with a place or with some sort of educational course. It may be that you're flicking through a brochure and you see an ad for the Seychelles, and it's like, bam, wow, you instantly realize that you've got some sort of connection with that place. Listen to those feelings, they're important. Either there's something unresolved from a past life, or it's going to feature in your future. So make sure you listen to the messages and see what it is. What is this telling me? Should I go visit? Have I had a past life there? What are you trying to tell me? What are these emotional messages? If you engage with that process and if you listen to those messages, they'll reveal something to you which is going to enrich you in the here and now. On the 5th, the moon moves into Sagittarius and it conjuncts Saturn and your rising in Sagittarius in your 10th house. Now, I really think that work is going well for you in the sense that you feel like everything is okay and everything is moving in the right direction. So I really get a sense of contentment and peace when it comes to your working life. On the 6th of October, Mars and Pluto, they start to conjunct in your 11th house, and they stay in this aspect pattern. A conjunction is basically when two planets come together and their energies blend. And this conjunction stays in place until the 28th of October. So you're going to be influenced by this conjunction for the majority of the month. Mars is desire. It's your personal desire, what you want to achieve, what you're not willing to compromise on. And Pluto is about transformation and change. And both of those are in Capricorn in your 11th house. So you're really focused on working to make your hopes and dreams a reality. And if that's to do with your working life, then that's great because you feel very at ease with that already. But if it's hopes and dreams in general, you're really going to be very, very clear this month, Pisces, that what your hopes and dreams really are. And not just that, you'll also realize what practical things you can do to realize them. So it's not just about living in some fantasy world and thinking, okay, I want a big house and live by the sea. It's actually, this is what I can do, and this is how far I've got to go, but if I start to put the legwork in, I will really be able to make progress. On the 7th of October, the moon is now in Sagittarius, and it starts to trine Uranus in your 2nd, and this is a great day to get ideas about how you're going to fulfill all of these hopes and dreams, especially when it comes to your financial life. So expect great information on the 7th about money, abundance, job opportunities, how you can actually put these things into practice. And then on the 8th, the moon joins Mars and Pluto in your 11th. So this is when you feel most comfortable looking at those things and making a plan for the future. And if I do A, B, and C, I will be able to get to dream A, B, and C at the end of the month. So really get very grounded, use your time wisely, and understand that the astrology is really on your side this month, Pisces. And if you want to make things happen, you really have the strength and ability to do that. On the 9th of October, we've got the first quarter moon. This is when the moon is halfway on its way to becoming a full moon, and there's a sense of building and anticipation. So now you feel really energized and psyched up about what you're going to achieve. It's a super productive day. You'll get a lot done. On the 10th, 11th, and 12th, the moon moves into Aquarius in your 12th house. This is interesting because this is almost like a quality control mechanism that happens. You've got these dreams, these plans, and they get filtered through this quality control mechanism now, which is, what do my hopes and dreams, how are they going to impact other people? And if you realize that something is really going to impact other people negatively, you'll be able to tweak it and make a change. If you focus on it and you see that it's not going to impact other people negatively, but it actually makes a contribution, then you'll be able to proceed. But this is really beautiful because you're looking at this from a really responsible perspective here on the 10th, 11th, and 12th, and you're really looking at it not just from your own personal desire perspective, but from a bigger perspective. So you're being super responsible. On the 13th and 14th, the moon is now in Pisces in your first house, and it joins Neptune, the South Node, and Chiron, all of which are in your first. So this is a bit like, it's almost like a walk down memory lane, but it's a sense of really, really feeling connected with who you are and really being realistic and really being truthful about what's going on with you and being aware of that, taking note of it and saying, yes, that is what it is. I may have had disappointments in my work 2 months ago and I feel a certain way about it, or I may be a little bit under the weather, but this is where we're at. And you're going to be able to accept that and see how you can work with it. And again, in your working life, everything comes together to really motivate you to keep moving. So I think you're really aligned with where you are in life, what's missing, and what you want to bring in to fulfill yourself. So you're very realistic, Pisces. You're very grounded this month. You're very down to earth. Your thoughts and ideas are very results oriented and based. Really focused on, okay, well, what is it going to look like in the real world? On the 15th, we've got the moon going into Aries, and it joins Uranus in your second house. So this is a wonderful day to start new businesses, to launch new products, to focus on your finances, how you can create more income for yourself. It is heightened, that sense, even more on the 16th because the moon now becomes a full moon in Aries. It's the hunter's moon this month, and you get showered with this explosion of Aries energy. It falls into your second house of money and belongings, and you're going to feel driven not only to achieve your hopes and dreams in a real world sense with Mars and Pluto up there in the 11th, but also to drive your finances forward and to really achieve something in that sector of your life. So it's all systems go. You can see here, just from the way I'm describing these first 2 weeks here, that there's a lot going on. Be sure to take a break once in a while to take care of yourself and not to let your desires and your drives completely take over your life. Yes, go with them and achieve, but also remember self-care. It's very important. On the 17th and the 18th, the moon is in Taurus. On the 17th, it's in your third house, and it creates a grand trine with your North Node and Mars and Pluto in your 11th. This is a wonderful day where you can really articulate what you're trying to do. So if you understand what you're doing for yourself, but if you need a partner, if you need people to make things happen for you, if you need investors, if you need to pitch something to another person and get them on board, the 17th is the best day to explain that in a very grounded, concrete way, and there's very little room for misunderstanding here. You come across very well, very likable, and people understand where you're coming from. On the 18th, that continues a little bit, but you become a little bit more focused on what other people think, what this could mean for them, rather than just focusing on what you care about, what your dreams are, and what your facts and figures are. You start to worry a bit too much about other people's perceptions. You start to try and mind read how they're going to react. So that dilutes your message, that weakens you a little bit, because when you start caring about what other people think, you're really putting a lot of energy into something that you really have no control over, and that makes things less powerful. So if you do have something to pitch, if you want to influence people, do it on the 17th. That's really the best day for it. On the 19th and 20th, the moon is in Gemini in your 4th. This is a wonderful time now for you during the month to spend with friends and family. Okay, so you're open, you're ready to have a bit of fun, you're relaxed, you're able to communicate. If you are planning any family stuff in October, do it on these 2 days. On the 21st, we've got another major aspect pattern happening, which lasts until the 4th of November. This is Mars squaring Uranus. So your drive to succeed and your hopes and dreams are now mainly focused on finances and what you can actually create money-wise. So you're very focused on that. 21st of October till the 4th of November, look at what other opportunities are available to you. Look at what you can do on a self-employed basis. Look at what other sources of income you can create for yourself. That is where you have the most success. On the 22nd, Venus begins to conjunct Saturn. This is another major aspect. It also lasts until the 4th of November. And I really feel that you love what you're doing work-wise. That could be your existing day job. That could be this additional work that you're now contemplating and doing. But really, as far as you're concerned here in October, you love your work, you love what you can do. And I feel that you have a real sense of empowerment when it comes to your working life. Here on the 22nd as well, the moon is now in its last quarter. So it's winding down to become this new moon again. And there's a real sense of things are less frantic, things are easy, and I think you feel like you're sliding towards success. I really feel you're in a very good place here. Also on the 22nd, the sun goes into Scorpio, so happy birthday to all the Scorpios. And on the 23rd, the moon starts to trine Saturn and Venus. This is a great day to pitch to colleagues, to convince your boss to give you a promotion, or to convince your superior to sign off on this idea that you've got, or to present the work that you've done to someone who's higher up who can really put their stamp of approval on it. You feel good. Again, you feel you have the fire and the passion to influence other people, to convince them of your brilliance, and you really genuinely feel fired up about things. So it's also a good day to start new creative projects on the 23rd. And the 24th, the moon is still in the sign of Leo here. There's a grand trine in fire. So you're really on fire when it comes to your career, with the particular focus on financial success and making a profit and being abundant and being prosperous as a result. On the 25th and the 26th, the moon is now in Virgo in your 7th house. And this is now a focus on what you want to achieve in your relationships. Again, it's a kind of throwback to earlier in the month when you were focusing on how can I make my connection with these institutions better. This is now how can I streamline and how can I improve my relationships with individuals in my life, colleagues, acquaintances, co-workers. You're really very strategic here this month, and you're focusing on making your place in the world and trying to improve your image. You're very image conscious this month. So if you are trying to rehabilitate your image, you know, if around the office you have a reputation for always being late, or, you know, not putting in enough work, or being the office gossip, or whatever it is, you have the potential to really alter your behavior and alter the perception that other people have. That extends into the 27th of the month, although on the 27th you'll really get a greater understanding of what other people's perception of you really is. So there's a day of understanding here. On the 28th and 29th of October, the moon goes into Libra, and it joins Jupiter in Libra and your midheaven in Libra, this is another throwback to the beginning of the month. So focus on making things better in your relationships, your place in these institutions. And here, the last couple of days of October are all about me versus them. And you can really improve things there. On the 30th, we've got the new moon happening in Scorpio. And this is the second new moon of the month, which is really rare. You can have 2 full moons in a month, which is also very rare. The second full moon is called a blue moon. And that's where the expression comes from, once in a blue moon, because it is so rare. The same thing can happen with new moons though. And the second new moon is called a black moon. And these are said to have special occult strength and power. This one in particular is really going to be something else because it's in Scorpio, which is the sign of the hidden and of the occult. So if you're someone who's into magic or Wicca, this is really a powerful time for you. For the rest of the world, it's a time of really being able to go within and to identify hidden things within. And if you're spiritually inclined, it's a great time to meditate. It's a great time to connect with the unmanifest because the veil is going to be very thin. So it's a powerful day when it comes to spirituality in connection with the real world or the physical world. Finally, the 31st of October, we've got Halloween, and the moon is now still in Scorpio, but it connects with Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. So this is a Halloween where, you know, the thinking and the message behind Halloween is really strong and is really active, where it's a connection between this world and the spirit world. The dark and the light are coming together. And again, you know, Wicca, seances, channeling, connection with things that are not of this world is going to be really, really heightened and really enjoyable. And you can really make a lot of progress and connect. So maybe I should plan a seance or something. That would be fun. I've never done that. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with in October. If you would like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab and you can order your reading with me there. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and I'll speak to you next month.